Assalamu alaikum and welcome again. I'm Mukhtar Ahmed with the Virtual University course of Organizational Behavior, that is MGT502, and we are here with our lecture number 13 today, and I believe that we are going together and we are trying to understand the basic concepts of the behavior part of individuals now. We have completed the perception part, and today we will be starting a new topic, that is the motivation. But let's quickly review what we have covered so far. Not only the whole 12 lectures, but last couple of 3 or at least 3 lectures which were dealing with the perception, the attribution and individual decision making. So to attach the basic concept and move together on the same frequency, right? Okay, let's quickly review not only the lecture 12, but of course few more lectures, because they were covering the perception part, attribution, and finally the 12th lecture, that was the individual decision making. We started with the perception, and as you are aware of that basic philosophy of this subject, we have divided the whole subject into 3 parts. And they are the individual parts, the group and the organization level. So we have divided the whole course in 3 levels. First we have started the individual level. We are trying to understand the individual, the unit of organization, to why he or she is behaving differently. What is the behavior aspect? What are the factors which are affecting the behavior of a person? What is the value of the beliefs? What is ethics? What are attitudes? Because remember, the basic model will try to understand the behavior is the function of person and situation, the environment basically, and person is a complex thing, individuals, and there are so many different factors, like I said earlier: value, the attitude, the emotions, the mood, the personality part, and yes, the perception, and of course other like motivation and other things are also going to play a vital role when we are differentiating A person from B. So in perception, we try to understand what this perception is, and I showed you a couple of cartoon or pictures to clear my view, whatever concept I want to discuss with you. What the perception is a unique interpretation of situation. And what are the factors which are affecting the perception? And we discuss those 3 factors: the perceiver, the target, and the situation. And then even we went a little bit ahead of that, and we try to understand those basic factors which are making a person, a perceiver, different from other perceiver. And of course the target too. There we discuss the internal factors, the size, the sound, the contrast, the novelty, and similarly the situation factors. And ultimately, I think we were at the point where we concluded that yes, these are different factors which are affecting the perception, and that is making the behavior of one person in the same situation different than the behavior of another person. And we started understanding all these things right away from the inheritance. वो जो hereditary characters transfer होते हैं parents से offspring में, and we related those things with the environmental factors, because we believe that expression of gene is controlled by the environment. And it is how we try to understand and we build this story or this concept of perception. और जिस तरह मैंने आपसे कहा कि factor influencing the perception, the perceiver, the target, and the situation. And in the next lecture, we try to understand the person, perceptions. When you are perceiving other people's actions, their behavior, their attitude, and there we have tried to understand the concept of attribution. That what are the causes? The concept of causes of behavior, or causes of attributions. क्यों ऐसे behave किया उसने? क्या factors थे? And there we have identified two type of causes: internal causes and external causes. In the internal causes, we figure out the personalities, the values and other things that are affecting the attribution, which is forming the behavior. And in external causes, we try to understand the role of environment, the other people, and then we discuss the attribution theory, especially the Kelly's attribution theory. And then we reach to few that we call it fundamental attribution error, or fundamental error of the attribution. That when we are trying to understand the behavior of other people, we mainly focus on the internal causes of that person and largely ignore the external causes, though they might be the main cause of that particular behavior. But when we are talking about our own personal behavior, we will mainly contribute those behavior to our internal things. If it is a positive sense, yes. And if it is negative, we blame to the external factors or external causes. Clear? And then we try to understand those shortcuts which we are taking while perceiving other people's behavior. Those halo effect, or we can say them the biasness, like stereotyping, the contrast effect, the tendency, different kind of when you are comparing those things. And we also discuss about the impression management. And what was the impression management? That was about each person is trying to manage their impression. How they are managing? By different types of strategies. And those strategies can be demotion preventive strategies or promotion enhancing strategies. That we want that other people should behave, other people should perceive us in a specific way as we desire. Each person wants that, especially in organization, we have seen that. And demotion prevention was when you are doing something negative or something negative is happening, you want to reduce the losses, the effect of that demotion things. And similarly, when you're doing something good, you expect that other people will perceive it differently. You want it like it is your entitlement, you want their enhancement, you want to disclose the obstacles so that people should realize how difficult it was, so that your impression should be a little bit elevated, and so on. After that, we try to understand the individual perception, the role of perception in the decision making. बात बनती है ना? देखें कैसे बात को यहाँ तक लेके आए हम, और उसके बाद हमने समझने की कोशिश की आपके साथ मिलके कि इंडिविजुअल परसेप्शन का डिसीजन मेकिंग पे क्या इफेक्ट होता है, और उसमें हमने डिफरेंट मॉडल्स देखे डिसीजन मेकिंग के. देन वी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड डिफरेंट मॉडल्स ऑफ डिसीजन मेकिंग. द फर्स्ट वन वाज रैशनल डिसीजन मेकिंग, a decision making model that describes how individuals should behave in order to maximize some outcomes. Normally, this is the approach by people approach to achieve the goals. तो रैशनल के अलावा अल्टरनेटिव्स क्या हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर? We discuss 4: bounded rationality model, intuitive decision making model, decision making by objections, एंड द गार्बेज कैन मॉडल. और फिर इसमें से सिर्फ 2 पे हमने कंसंट्रेट किया, एक जो इंट्यूशन की वजह से आप होता है, एक बाउंडेड रैशनैलिटी की वजह से. एंड देन वी डिस्कस दोज मॉडल विद यू. एंड सिमिलरली वी सेड दैट व्हेन यू आर गोइंग फॉर intuition to make the decisions, especially under circumstances when there are high uncertainty levels involved. Little precedent is available, the previous examples, hard to predict the variables, limited facts, unclear sense of directions, analytical data is of little use, several alternatives and time constraint. Then you go for the gut feelings. Are your own experience base पे आप decision करते हो. And then we also discuss about the decision models और decision style model जो होते हैं आपके, जिसमें हमने दो पैरामीटर देखे. एक था tolerance for ambiguity and the other was way of thinking, it is rational or intuitions. और इसमें चार को देखा, directive, analytical, conceptual and behavior style, and see how people different. Then slowly we are picking up it कि क्या behavior किस तरह affect कर रहा होता है आपके decision making. At the last part of the lecture, especially the previous lecture, we discussed the criteria for decision effectiveness, and that was the quality, timeliness, acceptance and ethical appropriateness. ये चार बेसिक characteristics या criteria होना चाहिए ये देखने के लिए कि वो decision कितना effective है. And then we also discussed the types of managerial decision, and they were programs versus non-program decisions. Routine work में जो decision लेते हैं, अनहोनी चीज, यूनिक चीज. Then we discuss about the strategic versus functional decisions and top-down versus the co-worker or worker empowerment decision. So how can we improve the decision making in the organizations? These were different models that we discussed, the behavior part, everything. Now let's see, in this changing environment, in this competitive pressure, how can we improve the decision making in the organization? Here we discussed about one is of course human based decision making we are doing, person to person vary करता है, but then people are using now tools like computer aided system, जिसमें आप क्या कह सकते हैं, MIS को यूज कर सकते हैं, जिसमें आप डिसीजन सपोर्ट सिस्टम यूज कर सकते हैं, रेग्रेशन कोरिलेशन एनालिसिस कर सकते हैं, ट्रेंड सेट देख सकते हैं, एंड दैट इज हेल्पिंग यू टू मेक डिसीजन, राइट? द मोर द इंफॉर्मेशन, द मोर द चॉइसेस यू हैव, द बेटर might be the decision. Similarly, you can go for brainstorming session, or you can go for Delphi techniques. All different methods are there, all different, I will say, tools are there to help you to make the decision, help you make the better decision. But again, remember, the decision making vary from person to person. Of course, in the program situation, a program decision making, you might have similarities because it is a routine thing, but still we can observe some differences and see how this behavior part is, this perception part is, this attitudinal part is, the emotional part of the human being is affecting the decision making. And that decision making of one person, of course, can affect the other person who are either beneficiary or having some negative effect due to that particular decision, and in the consequences, you can have the behavior or a mood or emotion of other people, and then they can make their decisions, and that is how it is working in the organization, in the real life. And that is why studying or understanding the subject of organization behavior is becoming more and more important for us. Got the point? Why we are studying this subject. You know that we have discussed this point so many times. So that we should understand the behavior of the people, we should anticipate, and we can influence the behavior of the people so that we should achieve the desirable results. And we are talking about in the organization. Clear? So that was all about perception, attributes, and individual decision making. Now see how all those basic information which we were discussing in earlier, शुरू के उस लेक्चर में जो पढ़ते आ रहे हैं हम, डिस्कस करते आ रहे हैं, now we can see their applications. Now we can understand the importance of those things, the behavior part. So moving to today's topic, that is the motivation. And again, very important aspect. Because when we are talking about a person, those personal characteristics, including all those which we have so far covered, and plus the motivation, is affecting their behavior, their attitude, their personality, and how they behave, how they make the decisions. So we better understand this concept of motivation well. If we want to understand the other topics, when we will be going to a group dynamicism, people working together, and ultimately to organization level, when we will talk about how organizations are working and what kind of difference they can create in the real world. So what is motivation basically? A state of mind, desire, energy, or interest that translate into action. So that is the motivation, right? So what motivates you to study here? Similarly, another definition can be motivation, the inner drive that direct a person what? Behaviors toward goal. So what is motive for you to study this course? What are the motives? ठीक है, कुछ ना मोटिव तो होंगे ना जो आपको आपको उस गोल की तरफ ला रहे हैं कि आप बैठ के सुन रहे हैं इस वक्त, आपको मजबूर कर रहे हैं कि आप रातों को जाग के लेक्चर सुने, नोट्स बनाएं, किताबों को पढ़ें. तो there must be some good motives there. And those motives are, maybe, it depends, again, vary from person to person. Some people go because they want to get good education. Some people are looking a step ahead, they want to have a good job. Some people to go for study because they see that without education, they cannot differentiate between right and wrong. So whatever motive is there, you are goal directed basically. Those motive will, the inner, when you are deprived of something, right? वो चीज आपको उस डायरेक्शन पे लेके जाती है. Again, another, let's see another definition. You can see the slide. The process that account for an individual intensity, direction, and persistence of efforts toward attaining a goal. Now, very important three words here. Key elements in this definition are intensity. How hard a person try. The harder it will work, mean more motivation there. What about direction? Toward, you must have that your effort should be directed towards certain goals. Now, you see, you can use this part of this definition of motivation for your organization benefit, because you want to make sure that all your employees, all your workers are working towards specific goals. So the more the motivation there is, the more chances are that those, provided if you keep other things constant, yes, that that effort, the persistence, the intensity of that effort will be directed toward the goal. And the last part is persistent, and how long a person tries. So three parts: intensity, direction, and persistence. So, these three are basic elements which in this Robin book he has described it, very important when we are talking about the motivation. Now, why do we care about motivation? One thing is, of course, when we are talking about individual, that is a part of that individual personality. जब इंडिविजुअल्स को बिहेवियर एस्पेक्ट को देखते हैं तो उस फंक्शन इज अ पर्सन एंड एनवायरमेंट, ठीक है ना. तो उस पर्सन के अंदर मोटिवेशन इज प्लेइंग वेरी वाइटल रोल. बट लुक एट द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, look at this slide. You might have already seen it in the when we are talking about the human resource management. The performance in any organization, we are talking about performance, right? Performance of individuals, performance of group, performance of organization. And they say that performance is the function of what? Ability, motivation, and opportunity. Now, all three these components are very important. The ability, the motivation, and opportunity. Let's put them in the mathematical model. When we're saying that performance is the function of these three things, so if you don't have any motivation for a particular job, you might have a good ability for that, knowledge and skills, you might be getting good opportunity, but if your motivation level is zero, the whole performance will go zero. So, similarly, other things. So, when we are talking about the ultimate, the performance thing, the motivation is playing the vital role there. But let's try to understand the process of motivation. Again, this slide you have already seen it. I'm not trying to bring the same old slides, couple of those, so that you should again recall those things. This is a situation. See, starting from the need. Need of what? Some more money. More money for unexpected medical expenses. Every day, you don't know what will happen tomorrow. You might be needing for your own medical expenses or your family members. Suddenly, this new thing is there. Now, what is the intensity? What is the consistency basically here? How much important it is for you? And in our society, especially in our culture again, if you are talking about your family, they become more important for you. So, you have to arrange that money. Now, how much effort you can put? It depends. How intense the need is. Now, let's see, you desperately need the money to meet the extra expenses of medical bill, or for yourself or for your family. Now, what will be the course of action? What will be the direction? Now, it will come up, the goal directed behavior will be there. Now, what are the options? Option can be, if you have choice, you can work for extra time, overtime, so that you can make extra money. If you don't have that choice available, you might look for some other jobs. Okay, morning time I will work here, evening time, in my leisure time, I am not going to spend at home or enjoy or play. I will go and work somewhere else, evening shift, and try to earn more money so that I should meet that particular need of extra money for the medical expenses or for any purpose for that sake. Let's see if it is not also working. You are not getting a chance to go and work for another organization. What option do you have now? You might ask for the loan, and your focus will be now, goal directed will be to get a loan. If it is not working, what else is there? And even people can steal it, though it is not a good thing. But see how it depends what kind of need is there, how much intense that is, how much desperate you are to fulfill that particular need. So, either the alternative, whatever direction whatever goals you have, so your behavior will be goal directed toward those available options. And more the drive, the maximum effort you will put. The more the need is there, the more you are going to put extra effort there. And see, your motivation level will be high and high more. So it will goal, basically it is goal directed behavior then. So let's assume you are getting any option. You might be getting pay raise, you might be getting overtime, you might be able to get a job evening time, and that is how you are able to achieve that goal of earning extra money, so that you should be able to pay for extra medical bills. And see how the process of this need related motivations were kind of directing your goals, directing your efforts toward a goal achieving behavior. So that is how this motivation works. That is how those needs, they will shape up your kind of behavior toward a specific goals. And today we are going to discuss few need-based theories, because if you are following the Robin book, there is a complete chapter on different theories. I'll try to just focus on a couple of them today, and then in next lecture maybe we'll try to discuss more. I know when we're talking about theories or history or these type of things, it becomes sometimes boring, but still we have to understand what was the relationship, how these things were evolved, and then try to understand the basic concept and philosophies. Fine with you? Okay. Let's see the phases of motivational process, and we will talk about with reference to the organization setup, the work behavior. Employee identify needs, first thing. Of course, when you are deprived of something, that is how the inner restlessness starts, and that is how you are directed towards certain goal achievements. So need is felt, and you search for satisfying those needs. Some alternatives, how can I get this? Like in previous example, we discussed for the need for extra money to pay the extra medical bills. The third part is employee select goal directed behavior. Okay, this is the best option I can have. I can get an extra job, or I should go for borrowing the money or whatever, as we discussed in the previous example. And then you go and do it. Like if you have picked that I'm going to go for evening shift job somewhere extra for extra earning, you will do that, and then employee receive either reward or punishment. If your action was toward positive thing and you have performed as per their requirement, you will get the reward and your need will be satisfied. Those basic driver, your motive is basically there. And if it is the other way around, your motive are negative, you might be getting punishment. And then the last step is again employee reassesses need deficiency, and then maybe next time, now you will be having different deficiencies. Now it is not the money, maybe it is the recognition. You want to have the recognition. It might be that you want to have the status, you want to go for the next stage. It might be that you want to have the transfer, that you should get a job position in some particular areas, and so on. See, that is how every time you go around and you reassess your need deficiencies, you identify your need deficiency, and you again search for alternatives, go for the best choice, do it, get the consequences like reward or punishment, and then this is the whole cycle. And thrust behind this whole process is basically the motives. What motives do you have? And again it relates with the intensity of the lead. समझ आ रही है? Let's talk about few motivation theories. We'll start with the Maslow's theories, Abraham Maslow. the very famous hierarchy of need. I think so many times people, we discuss in each subject, almost each subject, this Maslow's hierarchy of need theory. And this is basically 5 stages. The hierarchy is like from lower to higher. The physiological need, the safety need, the social need, the esteem need, and the self-actualization. What is the physiological need? The thirst, the hunger, the clothing, the shelter, basic physiological needs, or we can say them the basic needs. So Maslow talk about these 5 needs in a hierarchical manner. The basic need is the physiological need, and then once that needs are fulfilled, then come to next stage is the safety need. And of course, after safety you have the social need, esteem need, and actualization, that yes, I have to achieve this, maximum I can do this. Can we use an example? Let's see. If you are completing your education, what will be your basic need? We're talking about job related. Okay, you want to get a job. You might not be concerned about a regular or contract based job. You might not be at that time concerned about the position you are getting. We're talking about normal distribution, okay? So once you will get a job, basic need is completed, basic need is satisfied, then logically next stage will come safety. And here the safety will be, you would like to have a permanent position. You want to have a surety that, okay, this is the job you want to do. Once you feel that, now you have the credibility there, you have the security there, natural next stage will be social need, sense of belongings. Okay, you want to be part of this particular group. You want to be part of this group who is leading the company. Okay, that need is also fulfilled. Then logically the next stage will be the esteem need. Okay, you would ask some recognition. You will be interested, your need will be to have the status. You might be known as executive. You might be interested that your name should be in the management level. You should be getting the management position, and so on. And finally is the actualization, self development, realization. Yes, जिसे कहते हैं मैं जिसमें आ जाता कि this is the highest where you want to be. तो मैस्लो ने ये बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग सी ये थ्योरी पेश की, और जिसको अगर हम रियल लाइफ में देखते हैं, यू कैन हैव दी सिमिलर टाइप ऑफ इफेक्ट. इसकी assumption क्या है? Once a need is satisfied, its roles decline. जैसे कहा कि बेस फिजियोलॉजी का नीड है, रोटी, कपड़ा और ये चीजें बेसिक जो है. जब तक ये चीजें नहीं होती, हम इनके लिए एफर्ट करते हैं, इनकी इंपॉर्टेंस हमें मालूम होती है. जब ये चीज मिल जाती है तो इसकी इतनी इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं रहती शायद. मैं 2-3 दफा आपको एग्जांपल दे चुका हूं कि किसी भूखे से आप पूछें 2 और 2 क्या होते हैं, तो शायद वो कहे 4 रोटियां. वंस हिज हंगर इज बीन सेटिस्फाइड, तो फिर भले उसके पास रोटियां पड़ी भी हो तो शायद उसको उतनी इसकी इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं होगी. उससे पूछिए जिसके पास जॉब नहीं है, उसके लिए गेटिंग ए जॉब इज हाउ मच इंपॉर्टेंट. और उससे पूछिए जो बड़ा सेट है तो उसके लिए शायद इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. तो वही बात बेसिकली कॉन्सेप्ट है. तो वंस ए नीड इज सेटिस्फाइड, इट्स रोल्स डिक्लाइन. नीड्स आर कॉम्प्लेक्स विद मल्टीपल नीड्स एक्टिंग साइमल्टेनियसली. के बहुत सारी नीड्स साइमल्टेनियसली हम पे इफेक्ट कर रही होती हैं. लोअर नीड्स मस्ट बी सेटिस्फाइड बिफोर हाई लेवल नीड्स आर एक्टिवेटेड. जब तक आपकी बेसिक नीड नहीं पूरी होंगी तो आपको सिक्योरिटी का इतना मसला नहीं होगा, सोशल नीड का मसला नहीं होगा. वो देखें जो गरीब लोग बेचारे होते हैं, उनकी झोंपड़ियों में आपने कभी गार्ड शार्ड खड़े हुए बाहर नहीं देखे होंगे, बिकॉज उनके पास है क्या कि कोई उठा के लेके जाएगा. ठीक है ना. तो उनको तो उस वक्त मसला बेचारों का रोटी और ये बेसिक चीजें होती हैं. तो जब वो चीजें अल्लाह ताला दे देता है तो फिर आपको ख्याल आता है कि नो आई शुड हैव नाउ सेफ्टी एंड सिक्योरिटी. तो सी हाउ एक लेवल से दूसरे लेवल पे जब जाते हैं तो अगली नीड उसी तरह बढ़ती हैं. एंड मोर वेज एक्सिस्ट टू सेटिस्फाई हायर लेवल एंड नीड्स। जैसे जैसे ऊपर जाते हो तो उतने ज्यादा ऑप्शन आपको मिलते हैं कि आप अपनी उस नीड को सेटिस्फाई कर सकें। सिमिलरली फ्यू अदर assumption, you should go through the text and read them, and I hope you will understand the basic concept of this Maslow's hierarchy of needs की जो theory है उसको समझ जाएंगे। ठीक है, okay, I'll skip that। इसकी थोड़ी सी मॉडिफिकेशन अब भी कुछ लोग इसको टेक्स्ट में यूज करते हैं कि देखिए हायर लेवल लोअर लेवल, द फिजियोलॉजिकल एंड सेफ्टी नीड्स आर बीइंग कंसिडर्ड एज द लो लेवल नीड्स एंड सोशल एस्टीम एंड सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन at the higher level needs. Similarly, there is another famous, we call it ERG theory, a three-level hierarchical again need theory of motivation that allows for movement up and down in the hierarchy. इसका और Maslow का थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस आगे आपको बताता हूं। Technically, he is also talking, the ERG theory also talking the same thing. There are three words, E, R and G. E stand for existence needs, R stand for relatedness needs, and G stand for growth needs. And if you compare this with the Maslow's hierarchy of need, see the existence need is the basic physiological need, your safety need, right? And relatedness need mean the social need, and growth, yes, esteem need and actualization. So technically he is also talking the same thing, but he has divided, instead of 5 steps, he has divided this theory into 3 steps. और वही नीड जो कॉरस्पॉन्ड करते हैं जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा मैस्लो की थ्योरी के साथ, बट दिस बोथ मॉडल डिफर ए लिटिल बिट। मैस्लो के बारे में आपको क्या बताया था कि उसमें अनलेस यू सेटिस्फाई द वन लेवल ऑफ नीड यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू हैव डिजायर फॉर द सेकंड लेवल ऑफ नीड। वो दूसरी नीड इतनी स्पीड से उतनी इंटेंसिटी से आपको वो उसमें मोटिव्स नहीं क्रिएट होते। लेकिन ERG थ्योरी जो है, हियर द कंसेप्ट इज डिफरेंट। ऑल 3 नीड्स आर ऑपरेटिव एट वन टाइम, साइमल्टेनियस वो इफेक्ट कर रही होती हैं और सारी साथ साथ। अकॉर्डिंग टू ERG थ्योरी ऑल जो नीड्स हैं आर ऑपरेटिव एट वन टाइम। So let's talk about another theory, theory X and theory Y. What is theory X? According to this theory, the management views, this is basically a management view, which assumes that workers generally dislike work and must be forced to do their work. Theory X say, this is the management view, that mostly workers don't like their work. क्या मतलब हुआ? According to this theory, which assumes that workers generally dislike work and must be forced to do their job, कि उनको अगर वैसे ही छोड़ देंगे तो वो काम नहीं करेंगे, क्योंकि बेसिक फिलॉसफी, बेसिक थ्योरी ये कहती है कि लोग, दूसरे लफ्जों में कहना चाहिए, निकम्मे होते हैं। नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है, बट दिस इज ऑल्सो ए थ्योरी और उसके बेसिस डेफिनेटली कुछ होंगे एंड दैट इज वाई इट बिकम द थ्योरी। तो थ्योरी एक्स क्या कहती है कि मैनेजमेंट दे अज्यूम दैट वर्कर्स जनरली डिसलाइक वर्क एंड मस्ट बी फोर्स्ड टू डू देयर जॉब। इसकी बेस पे मैनेजर कुछ अज्यूम करते हैं, उनकी अजम्पशन बनती हैं। वो अजम्पशन क्या है? As I said earlier, they assume that, again see, look, the behavior part is coming here now, because they believe, their belief is that the theory X is right, the worker don't like the work. So based on that, those beliefs, they have different assumptions, they have different attitudes, and their assumption is that employees inherently dislike work. So if they dislike work, so what will naturally happen? They will attempt to avoid any kind of work. They will attempt to avoid any kind of, जिसे कहना चाहिए जिम्मेदारी नहीं लेना चाहेंगे. Let's try again. Under theory X, there are 4 assumptions which mostly the manager held. The people who have believe on this assumption of theory X. which say that people don't like work. So employees inherently dislike work and whenever possible will attempt to avoid it. क्या मतलब हुआ इसका कि भाई अगर आप उनको छोड़ देंगे उनके हाल पे तो वो बैठ जाएंगे आराम से, काम नहीं करेंगे. The second assumption is, since employees dislike work, they must be controlled, threatened. उन पे जरा टाइट करके रखना चाहिए ताकि वो काम करें और आप अपने अचीव गोल कर सकें. Again, people can discuss, we can talk about it, we can debate on this. Similarly, another employee will avoid responsibility and seek formal direction whenever possible. क्या मतलब है कि वो क्योंकि उन पे तो जब तक आप नजर नहीं रखेंगे तो वो काम नहीं करेंगे. तो इसी तरह तो फ्यू assumption, आई एम नॉट डिस्कसिंग द होल ऑफ देम, ये आपकी रॉबिन की बुक के अंदर से मैंने एक्सट्रैक्ट किया है, मेरा ख्याल है 3 या 4 थी, मैंने 3 लिए, कि जब तक आप उन पे फॉर्मल डायरेक्शन नहीं रखेंगे, उनको पनिशमेंट रिवार्ड और पनिशमेंट का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं रखेंगे, उन पे इमोशनल उनकी नज़र नहीं रखेंगे, आप अपने डिज़ायर गोल अचीव नहीं कर सकेंगे. वो नज़र का मतलब क्या है यहाँ पे कि आप उनको कंट्रोल करेंगे, उनको फॉर्मल डायरेक्शन देंगे, उसको हर पॉइंट पे वेरीफाई करेंगे कि वो काम हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा. तो दिस इज वन कॉन्सेप्ट, वन थ्योरी. इसके अपोजिट देयर इज अनदर थ्योरी, वी कॉल द थ्योरी वाई. दैट इज अगेन अनदर मैनेजमेंट व्यू that assumes that workers like to work and under proper condition, quote unquote conditions, proper conditions. Employee will seek responsibility to satisfy social esteem and self-actualization needs. अब ये थ्योरी जो Y है ये अपोजिट है थ्योरी X के, लेकिन इसमें एक जो कहते हैं ना रीड बिटवीन द लाइन, एक जो बात उसने की है वो क्या है कि the workers like to work under proper conditions. Now see, again environment is playing very vital role. If you have proper working condition, they will definitely work. Why? To satisfy their social esteem and actualization needs. इस theory के साथ भी कुछ assumption है. Employees can view work as being as natural as rest or play. ये वो अपनी जैसा बाकी रूटीन काम है ये भी रूटीन की तरह करेंगे. People will exercise self direction and self control if they are committed to the objectives. The average person can learn to accept, even seek responsibilities. And the ability to make innovative decisions is widely spread throughout. It is not the responsibility of top management, बल्कि सबने मिलकर करना है. तो इस सारी assumption का मकसद वही है कि yes, people like work. They take the responsibilities. This is another view under the theory Y. There is yet another one, थ्योरी Z उसे कहते हैं, थ्योरी Z भी बोलते हैं, थ्योरी Z बोलते हैं. A management philosophy that stresses employee participation in all aspects of the commonly decision making, participative management वाली. तो इन तीनों थ्योरीज को देखिए. जनरली तो टेक्स्ट के अंदर सिर्फ थ्योरी X और थ्योरी Y को डिस्कस किया जाता है, और इसमें देखें कि 2 स्कूल ऑफ थॉट. एक कहता है कि वर्कर डोंट लाइक वर्क, दे डिसलाइक वर्क, and whenever possible they will avoid it. Theory Y say no, people like work and if you provide them proper conditions they will perform, they will take the responsibility. Now going back to again perception and behavior part. So if you believe on theory X as a manager, as a worker, your behavior will be totally different as compared to those people who believe on the theory Y. So see, even those motivational theories, they are also affecting your behavior part. और motivation में भी देखा आपने, तो उसमें जो मैस्लो की थ्योरी पढ़ी हमने, ERG थ्योरी पढ़ी, कि डिपेंड करता है कि कौन सी नीड है आपकी, और फिर उस नीड के बेस पे आपका डायरेक्शन, आपका वो जो इंटेंसिटी, आपकी कंसिस्टेंसी और डायरेक्शन जो आपकी डिफरेंट हो सकती है. और दैट इज वाई पीपल हैव डिफरेंट बिहेवियर. एक जिसका मसला रोटी बेचारे का है, बेसिक नीड ही उसकी पूरी नहीं हो रही, उसके लिए उस वक्त सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ वो पैसा होगा, वो रोटी होगी, वो कपड़े होंगे जो अपने लिए, अपने बच्चों के लिए वो कोशिश करेगा. उसका बिहेवियर विल बी डायरेक्टेड टूवर्ड मोस्टली टू गेन दोज थिंग, टू अचीव दोज थिंग्स. But a person, if उसकी जो basic needs पूरी हैं, no problem of the money or no problem of the resources, उसकी need different है. When the needs are different, उसका goal directed behavior भी different होगा. उसके लिए priority कोई और है. Now, being a manager, if you understand these things, how can you use them? Use for what? To influence the behavior of other people, to achieve the goals. फिर को मिसाल दीजिए. Let's see if you have a diverse workforce. Now it depends which people you are talking. किसी की बेसिक नीड अभी पूरी नहीं हो रही, कोई एक्चुअलाइजेशन पे पहुंच गया. किसी की सोशल नीड नहीं पूरी हो रही और कोई एक्सट्रीम नीड पे बैठा हुआ है. किसी की सिक्योरिटी नीड है. Now if you have to deal with all those people, do you think you will be using the same tool to influence their behavior? No. Now it will be basing, or it will be depending on the type of needs they are at the level of. The people where we are addressing, your worker, your colleagues, you have to see at what level of needs they are, so that you should be able to create the motivations for them to direct their behavior toward proper goals. और इसीलिए ये हम मोटिवेशन को आज समझने की कोशिश करें. समझ आ रही बात? Should I again go back? So we have covered the basic couple of those theories like Maslow's hierarchy of need, ERG theory, and then the theory X and Y. इनका क्या फायदा है? ये आपको समझाते हैं, रिलेट करते हैं रियल लाइफ की चीज़ों को और उसमें कोई लॉजिक सेंस बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं ताकि मेरे लिए, आपके लिए इन चीज़ों को समझ के आगे इसको अप्लाई करना आसान हो जाए. Now you cannot standardize thing, you cannot generalize thing, of course, because we're talking about different people, and people are living things. Remember that. We're not talking about the machines or equipment. I can just carry this laptop and put it somewhere else, no problem. But if I'll say this person, okay, move to this place, he might be alert or she might be responding differently. Why? Then I have to see, okay, if I want to move that person from this place to this place, how can I influence the behavior? How can I tell him what motivates him to move from here to there? To understand all these things, we have started understanding the individuals, the behavior part, the personality part, and now we are at the motivation part. Again, coming back to motivation process. See, there are so many different theories your author is discussing in your textbooks. So today I'll focus just on all these three which we have already covered, because I don't want to confuse you more. Okay? Not more, basically, you're not confused, I'm sure. That forces acting are within a person that cause specific goal-directed behavior. And work motivation is basically toward productivity. ऐसे ही है ना? Management's job is to channel employees' energy to achieve organization goal. जो भी मैं बात कर रहा था आपको, कि आपका काम क्या है कि उसको चैनलाइज करें ताकि वो गोल्स को अचीव करने में आपकी वही एनर्जी, वही थ्रस्ट आपके गोल को अचीव करने के लिए फुलफिल कर सके, साबिक काम आ सके. What is so difficult? Because we are talking about different people. जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा कि different people, different needs, different behavior, different priorities, so it is making the situation more and more complex. But again, this is not impossible. The last part is motivation is the set of forces that causes people to engage in one behavior rather than some alternate behavior. वो जिसको इस वक्त बेसिक फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड की जरूरत है, उसका सारी एनर्जी उसी तरफ जाएगी कि मैं अपने लिए, अपने बच्चों के लिए रोटी, कपड़ा और इसकी अरेंजमेंट करूं. एंड पीपल हु आर एट डिफरेंट लेवल्स, दे माइट बी पुटिंग ऑल ऑफ देयर एनर्जी फॉर सम अदर थिंग्स. So what energizes us? Unsatisfied needs, deficiencies that a person experiences at any given time. Energizes create tension basically. क्या करता है? Tension create होती है. Deficiency होती है ना, feeling and unrest. Make effort to reduce tension. You put extra and extra effort. The more the stress is, you are putting more and more effort. And then it is ultimately goal-directed effort provided focus for energy release. बात समझ आई कि नहीं? कि when you have the unsatisfied need, तो क्या होगा? You feel some deficiencies. जब deficiency feel करेंगे at a given time, तो ये आपके अंदर एक thrust पैदा करेगी. It will energize you, create tension. वो tension क्या करेगी? Feeling of unrest. ठीक है? When you are feeling unrest, तो क्या होगा? You will put maximum your effort to reduce that tension. The more the tension, the more effort you will put there to reduce those tension. The more the unrest is there, वो जितनी ज़्यादा motives होती है ना, उतनी ज़्यादा effort करते हैं. Remember in the previous जो example मैंने शुरू में दी थी आपको motivation process को समझने के लिए, कि you are need of an extra money to pay the bills. खुदा ना खास्ता कोई सीरियस बीमारी है, कोई ऐसी इमरजेंसी है कि जिसके लिए you have to have that, तो फिर वो जब हम पढ़ते हैं कि लोग फलां बंदे ने फलां चीज़ के लिए चोरी भी कर ली, हालांकि दिस इज अनएथिकल थिंग, नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल, बट स्टिल पीपल गो फॉर दैट. देखें ना वो कितना उसके अंदर थ्रस्ट था, कितनी वो जरूरत थी, कितना वो टेंशन थी. तो टू रिलीज दैट टेंशन पीपल पुट एफर्ट्स, एंड दोज एफर्ट्स आर अगेन दोज गोल डायरेक्टेड एफर्ट्स. और प्रोवाइड करते हैं फोकस ताकि आप उस गोल्स को अचीव कर सकें. क्लियर? सो लेट्स स्टॉप इट हियर. So quickly summarize what we have discussed today. We started with reviewing the previous 3 lectures about perception, about attribution and individual decision making. And after going through that, again remember we are still at the person level, individual level. We are trying to understand the individual behavior. And then today we started the motivation. And in motivation, we try to understand the basic process, the kind of steps we are following, those things. Or ultimately then we discuss 3 different theories to understand this need-based motivation things. Maslow की देखी theory of hierarchy and need, ERG theory देखी, theory X and Y को डिस्कस किया, और ऑफ कोर्स उसी दौरान थ्योरी Z को भी देख लिया. और यही चीजें why do we concern, or why are we concerned about this motivation? Because it is the integral part of performance. यही तो आपके अंदर है जो आपके goal directed behavior उससे आप लेते हैं. We are still in the motivation. We still have to go, I think, 2 more lectures for this topic. So I will suggest to go through those chapters about motivation in your text. Look at this lecture again and see if you still feel some problem, do write us and we'll respond to you. Work hard, take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz and Assalamu Alaikum.